What kind of sick porn is that? Entitled ain't tried to steal my computer and hits my mum. This is a pretty long one, but I believe it's worth it. Me equals the smexy beast writing this post. EA equals entitled aunt. EK equals entitled kid. Mum equals, well, I'll leave you to figure that one out. So, a little bit of background first. EA and my mum used to get along good. Well, as good as two sisters usually get on. But when EA had a kid, almost all contact was dropped between them, and she only now calls my mom to ask her for a small loan of, well, $60,000. Or other favors like her driving down to look after her EK for a day. She lives about 4 hours away. But you can't stay the night, as I don't have room, and gets offended when my mom declines. Anyway, so as a sort of olive branch, my mom got quite ill a few months prior and had one of those moments where she didn't want any regrets when she died. My mom invited EA and EK around for a few nights so they can catch up and whatnot. So I'm waiting at the door, the car pulls up out front, and I open the door when she rings the bell. Hey Aunt Mar, hold this. I kinda write this off since it was a 4-hour journey with a most likely screaming child. My mom and EA proceed to exchange pleasantries, but I notice my mom is doing basically all the niceties. How was your journey, etc. I make some tea and a hot chocolate for EK. It's cold. It's steaming at the top, so I know he's lying. It's still cold. At this point, I realize he's not joking. EK, I can see the steam. It's not cold. Oh, he just watched Ratatouille. For those of you who don't know, Ratatouille is an animated film about a chef rat, and he's trying to be like Remy. Be a dear and remake one for him. Side note, from what I remember, his character never says the food's cold, but I could be wrong. I kinda sit still for a bit, not sure if she's serious. Now, please! Now, it should be noted at this point that my mom let it happen, since she was desperate to get on with her sister. Oh, but that'll change later, don't worry. Sure, whatever. I go into the kitchen and set down the mug out of view, rattle around with spoons and jugs, and bring the same hot chocolate back. The kid is fine with it, but EA? Oh no. Oh, you didn't remake that. I just saw you put it on the side and bring it back out. Mommy, I want a hot one. Oh, don't worry, honey, you'll get a hot one. At this point, I'm just annoyed. The kid was fine with it, and EA was just being a dick. Well, the microwave is there. Knock yourself out. So I don't cause a scene. I leave the room and go upstairs in my room. Now, recently, I've started playing a new game on my PC called BioShock 2. For those of you who don't know, it's a horror game that takes place underwater. Now, a key point to this story and the game is that in the game there are little girls who run around called Little Sisters, and their job is to collect resources from dead bodies around the various game levels. Each one is protected by a huge man in a diving suit known as Big Daddies, which are usually referred to by the Little Sisters as Daddy or Mr. Bubbles, for whatever reason, I don't know. And in the second game, you play as one of these Big Daddies, and have to defend these little girls whilst they harvest resources. If you've played the game or are super intelligent, you probably know where this is going. Anyway, so I boot up the game and begin playing. A few minutes pass and I assume EK gets bored because I hear him scampering upstairs and, without knocking, enters my room. Hey, could you please knock next time? I don't have to knock at home. You're not at home. What are you playing? An adult game. But you're not an adult. Aha, you got me. I don't like him much, but I get he's a kid, and although he's annoying as hell, I do recognize that I've got to bear with him a little bit since he's only about 5 or 6 and doesn't really know any better than to be annoying and squeaky. Can you play some, please? Not with you here, mate. As I said, it's an adult game. He storms out, slamming my door behind him. I was a bit confused since I, though annoyed, understood why I wasn't allowed to play certain games when I was his age. A few moments pass, and in the game, I set the little sister down and she begins harvesting the body and several enemies attack, attempting to get the little sister. Just as I hear footsteps coming up the stairs, I have a little eye roll as I know exactly what's about to happen. It's EA. She stands outside my door for a few seconds. I assume thinking of something to say, but I give it no thought. Just as she's about to walk, without knocking, I might add, the little sister in-game gets attacked and lets out a high-pitched "Daddy!" asking me, well, her guardian, for help. Now at the time I didn't really think much of it, as I know full well what I'm doing, whereas all EA knows at this point is that I'm a 16-year-old boy and she knows full well what most 16-year-old boys are motivated by. What the fluff is wrong with you? Huh? Which, if she thought I really was doing the thing guys do, is pretty creepy. What the fluff did you show my angel? Oh, he asked to see the game and I said no since it's an 18. Oh, don't lie to me, you little shit. He just came downstairs crying because you played an adult thing in front of him. What? EA, this is a game. I just heard a woman moaning in here. Don't lie to me. What you heard was a character in the game. If you sit down, I'll show you. At this point, EK is at the door and wanders in. That's it. I'll play some of it for you to prove it's not porn if you just sit down. I'd like to point out that I wasn't being aggressive at all during this. She was screaming at me when I was talking normally. Both of them take a seat on my bed. You might want to tell EK to leave. It's a grown-up game. If it's good enough for you, it's good enough for him. Oh, big mistake. Now, I understand that I wasn't smart in this situation and didn't really think it through. I then proceeded to show her and her little brat about 2 minutes of me blowing enemies' heads off with a shotgun and a huge drill. I did mention before it was gruesome. I paused, turned around, and realized my mistake. EA looked mortified. However, EK looked fine. What kind of sick porn is that? I was surprised. Surely she couldn't be that stupid. I was expecting her to flip out because I showed it in front of her kid, but no. She still thought it was some kind of kink I had. Because why wouldn't you? EA, it's clearly not porn. I'm telling your mother right now, we're taking your Xbox right now as compensation. I decided not to point out that it was a PC, not an Xbox. EA points to my monitor and holds out her hand like she expects me to be able to carry like that and that I'd just give it over. What the fluff? No way! I want it, Mommy. You can have it, sweetie. Give it now. No! Get the fluff out of here, crazy lady! EA tries to grab the monitor, and I smack her arm away. Did you just hit my child, you fat slob? Fluff off, now! EA storms downstairs, dragging EK by the wrist, and I hear her yelling at my mom downstairs, calling her a bitch and whatnot for letting me have a computer. That filth. I hear a thud and rush downstairs, worried. Luckily, it was only her EK having a tantrum on the floor. I'm watching from the staircase, and EA hasn't noticed me yet. What kind of shitty parenting are you doing? I demand to have his Xbox and we're sleeping in his room tonight. Look, can everyone just calm down? My aunt slaps my mom. This is where I lose my shit. Out! Now! And you! Listen here, bud! Out! Now! What? Get the fluff out of my house now, and if you come back, I'll call the police. You can't do that. I can. You and your little shit stain you call a son, get out of my house right now, or I'll make you. With family. I was shocked at this. Like, how can she even consider making that excuse when my mom was currently crying with a big red mark on her cheek? Get out now! Realizing she's beaten, begins grabbing her things and tells EK to get his shoes on so she can tie them. Nope! Out! Yes, I'm getting his shoes on, you dick! Put them on in the car, now fluff off! EA moves towards the door and I open it for her. She's grabbing EK's wrist and is practically dragging him along whilst he wails that he wants my game. I throw a bag she forgot into the ground and slam the door behind me. I immediately check on my mom, who's sobbing quietly, clutching her face. She was fine, and I think it was mostly the shock, but she was understandably devastated. She spoke to me later that night and gave me a huge hug thanking me. Needless to say, we didn't hear from EA for several months. Until she apologized a few weeks ago and proceeded to ask for money. My mom blocked her. I'd love to say this story is fake, but unfortunately, it's not. And I really am related to that asshole. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe to Reddit Originals for more videos like this. Oh, and hit the bell icon to stay updated on all our videos. We upload a video each day, so stay tuned.